It's a loop that goes to a radiator with water going through it and a
Radiator.
heatsink. Radiator?
You said radiator.
Okay. I say radiator, you say radiator. Okay.
Yeah.
It's just how that works, Marley. Okay?
No, you're wrong.
Oh, man. The worst day of my life. Worst day of your life so far.
So funny.
What's going on, guys? It's the What It Is podcast. I'm Strolli. He's Marlee.
I'm Marlee.
And we're here to talk about things and stuff.
Things and stuff, dude.
That's what we're going to talk about.
Those are things everybody's interested in.
Things and stuff.
Things and stuff. And today, the thing is PC building.
That's the thing?
That is the thing.
That's not what I signed up for.
Sorry for you, dude.
Oof. Do you know anything about building a PC?
I don't know a fucking thing about building a PC.
Why are we doing this? I don't know how to build a PC.
You lied to me this whole fucking time.
I know a thing or two.
I hope you do.
Apparently.
I'm gonna pay you a lot of money to do that for
Allegedly.
me. Allegedly.
Yeah. Word on the street.
Build me a PC and you fucking send me a laptop from 2007.
It can run RuneScape and that's it.
Exactly. Yeah, dude. PC building.
Yeah.
I've never wanted a PC.
You've never wanted
Never
a PC?
wanted a fucking PC. Never been interested in playing PC games.
We're talking about PC building. I've never wanted
I
one.
have zero interest in this topic whatsoever.
Is that true?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're being smart.
I
Okay.
am a little bit. So like,
why are we going to build you a PC?
because I have plenty of interest in PCs. I've always wanted a PC.
I don't think that's how that works, Marley.
I don't know,
You
dude.
can't do that.
So, all right. So, like, there's always been games that I just can't play on console. They're not fucking available.
Yeah.
Also, Steam sales look really cool because it's like, this game's fucking 95% off. It's like, wow.
Yeah. There's a lot of independent games that are on PC and not
Yeah.
on console.
Yep, exactly.
Some
Now,
of them are
granted,
good, some of them aren't.
I play Xbox. I have an Xbox, unfortunately. Yeah. Well, I mean, give me your fucking PS5, you nerd. When
So
was the last
PC
time-
building.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's get into that. When was the last time you played that?
We
Yeah.
won't, we won't do that.
Yeah.
PC Master Race.
PC Master Race with your fucking PS5 that you haven't touched.
Yeah.
You only got
So other than PC exclusive games, is there any reason why you want to have a PC? Any other reason, I guess?
I don't know. I mean, like, playing the cool independent games that like slowly started coming over to console, which that's pretty cool. But for the future, everything, all the cool games, like all the really cool, interesting little games, I find on like having to be on PC.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, that's fair.
so I want to
PC
have
is
access
better, so.
to that. Well, lies, but I want to have access to that. Yeah, I spent
Not lies.
$300 on an Xbox One that I paid for like 6 years ago, and I've been so satisfied with that.
Cool. And you can build a PC for
$300?
a little bit.
Do it.
With more than that, that'll last twice as long and be able to play twice as many games.
Is that why PC people always upgrade their shit whenever they can?
Well, yeah, but that's because we're pretentious. It's got nothing to do with actual ability to run shit.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what about PC building do we want to talk about, Marley?
Dude, I don't know. You know a lot more than I do. I don't know shit about it. So, like, like I said, I just kind of want a PC, an entry level something that I could probably stream on, maybe fucking play a couple games on.
Yeah.
Nothing too strenuous. Like, I don't plan on playing AAA games on my PC. It's what I still have a console for, you know?
That is literally the most disgusting sentence I've ever heard.
Sorry,
I'm not
dude.
playing any AAA games on my giant rig that I just bought.
My fucking optimized
Yeah.
PC.
That's
No,
like-
I'd
that's
rather
like
play
saying-
it on console.
That's like saying, no, I don't want your bottled water. I'd rather drink the tap water from Michigan.
That's rude.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Well, sucks for you. My fucking console is hooked up to my 65-inch OLED TV.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, we want to talk about sizes here? Well, I have a 27-inch.
So,
Yeah. No, I
for
hear
that
you.
on console.
All right. Well, I guess we can start with just like all the pieces.
Yeah,
So-
dude, run me through it because I give me a base understanding of it. Teach me some things
Okay.
that you supposedly know
There's
of.
there's gonna be a lot of like jargon in here,
Mr.
just so
Master
you know.
Race.
So yes. Just realized.
I got him, guys.
Yeah. It's not fair. I got set up. Anyway,
Go on.
so there's your motherboard.
Mm-hmm.
your CPU, which is the brain, right? The motherboard's the body.
Mm-hmm.
The CPU is like the brain.
Okay.
Then you have your RAM, which is your short-term memory, basically. And then you have graphics card, power supply, storage, which is
hard drives. I know that one.
Yeah. And then your case, and that's a PC. That's all it is.
Gotcha. And that's
Easy.
$4,000.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
So So I mean, there's different specs like clock speeds and cores and threads and latency, and there's a lot of jargon that goes in there. But basically, the more the number is, the better it is.
I saw something about like they were playing Doom Eternal. I think it was like ID Software, id Software. I don't know. Is it id or ID?
Your guess is as good as mine.
What was that, Dom? id Software.
Id
Yeah,
Software.
there's no period there to make it ID. So id Software. And they were running Doom Eternal on PC, and they were like pouring fucking liquid nitrogen in there.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Bunch of frames per second.
Yeah. So you can, it's just like really any time when you create work
overclocking or something,
or create a lot of electrical current, things heat up, and most limitations for.
I got an apples and cinnamon mister, guys. I'm sorry.
I got confused at first because I was talking about heating up, and then I just see smoke come up to the top. I'm like, no, what's on fire?
Thanks for the mister, mama.
Yeah, right. As you pump more voltage into something, it's going to heat up, and most components nowadays have a thermal capacity, basically. So when it hits a certain temperature, it shuts down to save it from overheating, destroying itself internally.
Right.
It makes it so it'll turn off, it can cool down, and then re-go into it basically safely. So to try and push it as far as you can go, like most like Intel CPUs, you can push to like 5 gigahertz, which is a lot for comparison. And like AMD is usually around like without really overclocking it is like around 4.5 or something like that gigahertz. So 5 is a lot. They can run that no problem on all-in-one water cooler. But when you add liquid nitrogen into the mix and all that other science shit, it can cool it down so low that you can pump a shit ton of fucking electricity into it. So when you pump all that electricity into it, then it's going to heat up, and the liquid nitrogen is able to keep it cool. So you can get a lot more frames because it can perform better when you get to the better clock speeds, the higher clock speeds, the better it'll perform, the faster it'll perform, be able to perform each action that it needs. So the higher that it goes, obviously, the faster that it is.
Right.
And with LN2, you can accomplish that crazily. There's a lot of sickly numbers that happen, and I mean like both stomach wrenching and really interesting. it's insane.
LN2 is liquid nitrogen. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
we're on the same page.
LN2 because nitrogen atoms need to be together. Nitrogen is N2. So then liquid. I'm literally just explaining it for you, just because.
Yeah, after I already told you, I understood it.
I know. Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure.
I had to. Yeah.
Right.
So
what do I need to play Minecraft?
A brick.
Fair. Right.
Minecraft is really easy to play.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need a lot. 2 cores at like 2.5 gigahertz, and like 8 gigabytes of RAM is probably sufficient, honestly. And then even graphics card, you could probably get away with integrated, which means that it's the graphics. The video card is actually on the motherboard, and you can plug it into the motherboard. Usually those graphics are garbage. So, but you could probably play it with Minecraft. It's very
Minecraft isn't a very graphically demanding.
It's really not
game. What about Fall Guys?
Fall Guys probably similarly. You'd probably need you would need a CPU with more so cores and threads, right? Most CPUs nowadays are twice as many threads as they are cores, and that's basically different sections of their brain, right? The CPU is the brain, so it's different sections that it has, and then threads are essentially subsections, if you can think of that. So if you have a 8-core 16-thread CPU, it has 8 different brain functions that can be doing different things. And then inside of those 8 different things, it can be doing 2 separate things, if that makes sense. So it's like if you can, like, I'm imagining like a tree roots, right? So like the threads are the cores, and then they go into the threads. So each one can do. It just is better performance for multitasking capabilities. When you're playing a game, most games usually only utilize 4 cores or 4 threads, 4 cores and 4 threads. I think that's starting to change now with higher core counts and higher thread counts per CPUs. But for the most part, you really only use. Double check me on that, but if I'm not mistaken, the last that I've heard, it's usually about 4 is usually what it is.
Gotcha.
But if you're trying to play a game in stream, for instance, you need cores for the game and you need cores for the stream, right? And it takes a lot. So a lot of people will use. There's two before I get into that. There's 2 mainline companies, really 2 companies that produce. I don't want to say aftermarket consumer CPUs, chips. It's Intel and AMD, and they've been Team Blue and Team Red, respectively. And they've been dueling it out for years and years and years, and Intel usually is always on top. And then AMD like comes out with something like wild, and they're on top for like a couple weeks, and then Intel's like,
nah.
All right, well, let's bring out the big guns. And then they bring out the big guns, and they're like, and they feel sad again.
Yeah.
But AMD processors work really well with multitasking. Intel processors work really good at single core performance. So for 1 core, Intel performs better than AMD. But multi-core, AMD usually performs better.
I'm assuming you can't have both.
No, you get one CPU per PC.
Gotcha.
There are extenuating circumstances where that may change. However, most times it's 1, and usually it's when it's if there are certain like things, for lack of a better term, because I don't even know the term for them, but there's times where you can have 2 CPUs on 1 board, but they're usually the same CPU, so you're not going to have AMD and Intel. So you have AMD and Intel. Like I was saying, streaming, most people use AMD processors because usually streams don't output that high of resolution or frame rate. So you don't really care too much about that quality. Yeah. It's really when you're playing it, you're
streaming 480.
No, please God, no. Like 1080, maybe. No. This is gonna crash and burn, isn't it, Marlee?
Hopefully not. You're building it.
No, fuck. No. So the graphics doesn't really matter all too much. I love how that's just become normal for me now. So the single core performance isn't as important with like my PC that I have is a Intel. It's an Intel i7 9700K, which is 9th gen 7th series i7. And it is a 8-core 8-thread. So it doesn't have multi-threading. But the cores perform so much greater. But when I'm gaming, I don't need those extra cores, right? It's basically the same as a 4-core processor, essentially, when I'm playing games. Obviously, there's a lot of other circumstances where it's actually better than a 4-core, but for lack of a better example, that's what it is. So, yeah. But...
Excuse me. I'm a little burpy.
Yeah, you are.
My bad, dude.
Don't be sorry. Be careful.
Watch out next time.
But yeah, so I mean, so that's the CPU is usually your biggest part, and then the motherboard is what supplies all the power to the CPU essentially, and all the other things like the RAM and stuff like that. The motherboard is usually like, I'm sure you know what a motherboard is. I'm not being smart. I'm actually being genuinely curious.
Assume I don't.
Okay, all right, that's fair. It's like usually like when you see like the green boards with the with the gold things. Yeah, with all the black squares on top of it. That's a motherboard for lack of, that's a board, but a motherboard is usually what
I think I saw that in Small Soldiers.
Probably.
That's what that little chip that they were like.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. But that supplies. That's the body. So you need to make sure your body's good if you have a good brain, right? So
Mind, body, and soul, guys.
The different things that the motherboards handle are usually power output efficiency. So you can actually have two motherboards that one will do so much better, and the other one will do shit, and that's usually due to power delivery, right? It can't physically push that power to what the chip needs, right? So you always want to make sure that's the same. And then they have different chipsets, is what they're called, and they're basically like sub-brains. I told you there's a lot of choices.
There's a lot going on in this.
Yeah,
dude.
I'm sorry.
I'm not yawning because you're losing me.
No,
I
I know.
Before this,
it is tough because, like I said, there is. But motherboard handles all of the power delivery. CPU is the brain, and then you need a cooler for that. And it's basically you can either have a passive cooler is what they call it. So basically, it's a radiator like for your car. But it's
a radiator.
It's got heat sink pipes that go right on it, and that pulls the heat off, and then air goes through the radiator that cools everything down, so it actually stays cool. And then you have what I said earlier, which was a all-in-one water cooler, AIO cooler. Basically, it's a loop. It's a loop that goes to a radiator with water going through it and a heat sink. Radiator?
You said radiator.
Okay. I say radiator. You say radiator. Okay.
Yeah.
It's just how that works, Marlee. Okay?
No, you're wrong.
Oh, man. Worst day of my life. Worst day of your life so far.
So far. So, all right.
And then you have a case. And
it's
then
a box.
And then the power supply is the battery, essentially. And then your graphics card is the visuals.
So, you said it varies. The price varies, obviously.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All these components. Like, what's the most expensive component? I guess.
The most expensive
like
component?
1 to 5, like most expensive to least expensive.
So consumer grade, right? Obviously.
What other?
Well, the Intel makes like they're consumer grade, but they're high grade consumer grade. So they're like those CPUs are like $1,000 a piece. Yeah. So normal consumer grade is probably CPU to motherboard. They kind of go hand in hand essentially because especially now with pricing, everything's kind of a lot more expensive and a lot closer together. But 9 times out of 10, your CPU is going to be the most expensive part of their build, and then your motherboard, and then
1 and 2.
Motherboard and RAM kind of go hand in hand. Pricing wise, they're usually you can get a motherboard for like $100, you can get a motherboard for $50, or you can get a motherboard for $500. You get what you pay for. So, I mean, the $500 motherboard is going to outperform the $50 motherboard by probably about 1,000 times. So you actually get more out of it.
Well
So I think my motherboard was like $250, $300
flex
or something like that. Yeah.
Oh,
No, that's not a flex.
Okay.
I was about to say that is not a flex.
Never mind then.
If you want me to flex, I could tell you my brother's build. That is a flex. That is strictly I had the money and I'm gonna spend it.
I'm gonna get for $10K.
Yeah, right. Not that much, but yeah, I mean that's kind of where
there's
it gets
a ballpark.
Yeah. But yeah, so typically it's your CPU and then your motherboard and then your RAM. Top 3. Power supply is usually in and around the RAM pricing ish, kind of the motherboard pricing, and then storage. Storage is actually really expensive, especially if you want to get an M.2, which is something that communicates directly with the motherboard. So it's almost instantaneous read-write speeds, as compared to hard drives, standard hard drives, which are mechanical. So that they literally spin up like a disk and read, and then have to write like a record player almost kind of thing. So that's limited mechanically, and then you have solid state drives, which it's similar to a mechanical. It's like the middle ground between a M.2 and a standard hard drive. Yeah, quicker speeds, much faster speeds, but still slower than an M.2. But M.2 like 1 terabyte drives are like, if you get like the best, which is the Samsung Evo Plus, it's like 160, 170, which is about the same price as RAM, so it can be up there. But if you get like a standard hard drive, you can get 2 terabytes for like $60.
Oh yeah.
So
regular hard drives are cheap.
Yeah, exactly. Prices definitely vary, but 9 times out of 10, it's going to be CPU, motherboard, RAM, power supply, cooler, and then your case.
Okay.
Your case is usually your cheapest.
So.
Oh, I'm sorry. GPU is actually the first. I forget about it because they just don't exist anymore to me. So
Right.
they're all sold out. So I always forget about
Yeah.
them when I'm thinking.
You're not
about
gonna buy
it,
them anyways. There's no point in listing them.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no. GPUs are GPUs, CPUs, motherboard, RAM, power supply, case.
Gotcha.
Storage is in there
Mm-hmm.
between RAM and case.
Gotcha.
Depending on what you get.
So aren't there pre-built?
Yeah. You could get pre-builts. Typically they're more expensive for what you get, and you usually get something really good but lose something that you kind of want. So most times,
So for somebody like me that's like entry level, not really knowing anything,
a pre-built would basically do the same thing. But the problem with a pre-built is you'll get a Intel i9 9900K in it, which is the top of the line a couple years ago. You'll get that in it, but you'll only get like 250 gigabytes of storage, or you'll only get like 8 gigs of RAM. And it's like, well, I have to upgrade that. And it's like the same price as if you got those upgraded things, essentially. You know what I mean? So you pay for the service that gets put into it, and you pay for the proprietary cases that they put onto it. But for the most part, they are good.
Yeah.
But price to performance is not there.
So as far as being cost effective, like, would it be worth it to look into trying to get a pre-built and like?
Because I can build it for you, and I don't mean that in a I'm gonna build it for you. I mean like it's you will get better things for the price that you put out. For $1,500, you'll get a better PC if you have me or whoever, somebody personally, go out and pick the things for you, than if you go out and go to a pre-built.
Okay.
Yeah.
So no Alienware for me.
No, definitely not.
That was the closest.
Alienware
So that was
garbage.
the only for years, because they had ads that were in fucking Game Informers that I would read.
Alienware was strictly it was like the Apple of
that was
PC gaming.
That was fucking it. Like there was nothing else.
You paid for the name and not the quality of the product. It was always
that shit
like,
looked cool.
Oh yeah, no, it looked great. It for sure, absolutely, but it was just underperforming performance wise. So, yeah, definitely not Alienware. It's basically just HP, and you get proprietary stuff, and you can't change stuff out. Don't do that.
Oh, rough.
Yeah, you know those words.
Yeah. I know some of these things.
But and then really on top of all of that, you got to have a monitor or some sort of. You have to understand what you want to play at. What resolution do you want to play at? Do you want to play at 4K? Do you want to play at 2K? Do you want to play at 1080? Do you want high frames, low frames? You know, you like those are the things.
1080 high frames.
1080 240 frames, 240 frames
that's a lot of frames.
Is easier than 2K at 165 frames. But at the same time, it's 1080, and the quality, in my personal opinion, from seeing 1080, 2K, and 4K, the quality jump, like for the pixels, is so much greater from 1080 to 2K than 2K to 4K. Like 2K to 4K, it looks smoother, but it kind of looks the same a little bit. From 1080 to 2K, it's like, oh my god, this is a new world. This is amazing.
Oh my goodness.
It's like the same.
What a time.
It's like the same look from 30 frames per second to 60 frames per second, and then 60 frames per second to 120. 60 to 120, it's like, okay, it's all the same to me. Right. But from 30 to 60, it's like, dear God, these people are moving so smooth. What is this?
Real life doesn't look like this.
Is this the 2500s?
Yeah. What are you?
I have no idea. It was just the voice that popped in my head.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, and then
man building a PC.
Yeah, and then also like you know, with a PC, I find a PC, like for me personally, I find a PC as like my Swiss Army knife, right? Like I can watch videos on it, no problem, right? I can play, no problem. I'm just like thinking like, who has problems with watching videos but playing games, no problem? Like no videos. Oh, that's what you mean. Okay.
Jesus, dude.
That's all I do with it is just watch videos. I don't play games.
Gross.
Not those kind. God, disgusting. It's not hentai. Hashtag not hentai.
Hashtag not hentai. Don't offend Dom.
I know, right? Sorry, Dom. I love you.
Sorry, Dom.
Poor guy.
Yeah, I know.
I can't wait till he gets a mic.
I know, right?
Yep. So, I consider it like a Swiss Army knife,
Mhm.
right? I can watch videos, play games, and then even I can emulate some of the games that I do have that I don't have the consoles for, right?
Mhm.
And it's all in one system, right? And then even with PCs that are really nice is you
Sounds
can
like an Xbox to me, bro.
yeah, but you can't emulate Nintendo stuff on an Xbox.
No, I can't. I can't.
So,
do that. I can't fucking do that.
yeah,
shit.
so it's not an
I wanna do
Xbox
that.
in any way, shape, or form. Or like I have a flight stick and steering wheel, and like I understand that those things are something that you can also do on console. I don't want to hear your shit, okay? I'm excited about those things, okay?
I know you are. You have so many things that I
know.
want.
Yeah, I do have all of the things for that you want.
Yeah.
You can have them if you want.
Those are the things I'm talking about. Talking
Yeah,
about your
no,
fucking
you can't
PS5.
have them. You can't have them.
I know.
I wanted to tease you. Anywho, so I have all those things, and having them work with the system is smooth as all hell. It's just USB, and I'm good to go. I don't have to worry about anything. And then obviously modding. Modding is insanely.
That's also that is
that is a huge community that's just so much more easy on PC. I mean, you can access program files, so it's 10 times easier than on. Like the one time when I accessed the program files for Farming Simulator, I made a tractor go like 9,000 miles an hour. It was lit.
Like said, I want to do shit.
Yeah.
I want to be able to do dumb shit like that.
Yeah.
Like all the modding, all like the like how can I can make a game that I'm already done playing fun by fucking with it? Like I want to be able to do that kind of shit.
And PC does it so much more efficiently. I'm sorry.
You
I had to
fucking-
stretch my knee. It hurts.
Play footsies, dude.
No, I'm
Come on.
sorry. I didn't mean it.
We can.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, all right.
Can I touch your corgi pin?
Yes, you can. Yes, I'll allow it. Just this once.
Out of context, that I'm sure that doesn't sound pleasant,
I
especially
have
since
Crocs
we're
and they have a
looking
corgi
down.
pin. Yeah, we're wearing pants. Don't worry.
Apparently,
You sure? Are?
get it?
Apparently.
Pantly.
You had pantly.
That
I
made me laugh.
thought you
I
were
know,
going
I
like
know.
apparel.
So anywho,
Jesus.
so yeah, modding is super easy,
Yeah.
super fun.
This is
super
all
exciting.
kinds of shit. Like I've been console forever, my entire life. It's just been fucking easy. I
Yeah.
dropped $250, $300, and I'm cool for like 5 to 7 years.
Yeah.
You know, which has been the case for me recently.
Now the problem is that with consoles is that once when the new console comes out, the old console kind of gets thrown into the dark, right?
Mhm.
So like PS2, there's no support for PS2 anymore, right?
There's kind of
However-
support for PS3.
However, games that I played on my PC, and we had a computer when I was growing up, and when the games that I played on that, I can play on my PC today with no issues, no funny business. It's just that they're just there, you know, like Roller Coaster Tycoon. Like I remember playing that in like '98 and being like, or actually no, not '98. It would have been like 2002, I think, is when I kind of remember playing that.
I remember we had a dinosaur hunter game.
Yeah,
It
I
was
mean,
pretty cool. It was like the disc.
yeah, and you can play those games
I want to play
today
that again.
on a PC.
It was
Whereas
cool.
like playing a PlayStation 1 game, playing the original Crash Bandicoot, you need to have a PlayStation 1 or a PlayStation 2.
Just wait for them to remaster it and spend all the money on it again.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay. I understand. All right, it was a bad example. I get it, but
Pick the worst one.
I know, right?
It just
It was just the one that popped in my head. But yeah, like the longevity of the games are infinite on PC as compared to on consoles. You're limited to that certain generation or the generation cycle, essentially.
Yeah.
Which is shitty on the console manufacturers, hand, where it's like all you have to do is just make a PlayStation 5 be able to emulate a PlayStation 2, which a computer can. So why can't the PlayStation
Backwards
5?
compatibility.
Yeah, and just let it go.
We have backwards compatibility for 100 games. That's it.
Yep. It's like
Not my
I understand
favorites.
maybe the R&D probably isn't there. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
at the same time, it's like, come on, bruv.
Yeah.
Help a brother out.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's yeah. And especially especially if you're playing FPS on PC, the aim. What's that?
What's happening?
Is that you, Dom?
Oh God.
Well, that was weird.
Hashtag not hentai.
That was intriguing. I don't know if that's gonna be heard. Like,
I
when
have
it comes
no
to
idea.
It. But if not,
Yeah, it's
and we
like
look
we just looked
stupid.
over in silence.
Yeah, there was music just started playing out of nowhere.
Yeah, we're like, what the
We're
fuck
just
is that?
very confused.
It's not ours.
Yeah, but like playing first person shooters
Mm-hmm.
on PC, you can snap aim so much better with a mouse and keyboard.
Oh, I'm not playing on a mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, I know you're not because you're gonna be a fucking pleb, but
Plebe.
you can aim better on it. And then you can get the clicky clacky keys, so it makes it sound like.
Oh yeah, dude, one of my coworkers has one of those. He brings his fucking like I guess the ones that have like the LEDs in them.
Yeah,
his shit's like when he's typing. It's so fucking cool.
Yeah, mechanical keys are cool.
When he's typing emails like
yeah,
fuck,
dope.
dude.
Yeah,
so fucking cool.
Yeah,
I don't even type that fast. I just want to be like.
Yeah, Marlee's over here like. Dick.
I think you're working hard. Yours is just
you think you can use 4 fingers at one time? Well, fuck you. I can use 1.
8 fingers I can use.
Yeah. But yeah. I've thoroughly. I'm glad that I got into building PCs because it's like a puzzle. And PC building wise, right? Other than just the PC lifestyle, the PC building, it's literally like a puzzle, right? The pieces only go in one way. There's ways that you can fuck it up for sure, like a normal puzzle. Like obviously, if you smash a fucking corner piece into the middle, it's not going to work.
Go through that round hole eventually.
Yeah, exactly. It's possible, but like 9 times out of 10, if it doesn't feel like it's going in, just get it out. Just let that one sit there for a second.
Just let it marinate.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's like super easy. Most times, like I built the first PC that I built by myself, and like I was heavily having a YouTube video like next to me while I'm doing this. Like, all right, is this the way that it goes in? All right, what do I do next? I don't know what to do next. Now I'm just like, all right, throw it all into the box. It's fine.
Figure it out.
Yeah, right. So, but yeah, it's really cool, and especially nowadays, like back in like the early 2000s and the late 90s,
the old
like
days.
Yeah, like PC building was really I don't want to say scary, but it was very damn noises throwing me off. The parts were much more fragile. You had to be very careful. Nowadays, it's just like idiot proof. Like all the safety measures. Yeah. Honestly, like I could honestly hand you the things and show you where they go, and if you had any kind of deductive reasoning, you'd be able to get them in there, no problem.
Better.
That's why I said if.
On a normal person.
Yeah. So it is super easy, super simple. I definitely suggest anybody who's even slightly into it, do it. It's easier than you think. Anybody can do it.
You're not going to do it for me.
You're not going to fuck it up. I'll
find a way.
Well, I'm sorry. I don't want to say you're not going to fuck it up.
I will find a way.
You can fuck it up very badly.
You shouldn't.
It's simple.
It's expensive.
But if you have a slight reasoning to you'll be fine. But yeah, it is a lot of fun. I enjoy building the PC more than actually playing with it. Like when I built my PC, I was like, all right, now what? I'm bored.
Wasteful.
Like I had so much fun putting the things together, opening all the boxes and shit, and then like I'm like looking at it, I'm like, all right, that's so cool. And then I'm like,
time to take it apart.
All right, I'll play with it next month or something. I don't know. But
it's the worst.
But yeah, I get really excited. I like buying things. I don't like playing with things.
I've noticed.
Yeah.
I saw the dust on your PS5.
Yeah, I liked buying the PS5, not playing it. I did like playing it. I can't lie to that. Does that anger you?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I'll trade you my PC for your PS5. I'm gonna give you my PS5 and then trade you for it.
Sure. That's fine with me. I'll take that. No, you already said it.
No.
Hold them accountable.
We didn't shake on it. You saw it.
We did it on the table.
Gotcha. No, we didn't.
Yeah, they can't tell.
That's not what we were shaking.
Oh, gross.
Anyway.
Yeah, dude, build me a fucking PC. I'm into it. I want to try to get into it. I'm not going to learn anything about it. You're going to build it for me, and then I'm going to play games on it.
You're going to be one of the guys that are just like, yeah. And then I give it back like, here, it's fucking done, dick. Yeah, and you're like, all right, cool.
Thanks. Hook it up for me, too.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. That's the shit that I like.
Yeah, see? I'm helping you. I'm doing this for you, really.
I know.
There's no argument.
That's why I'm doing it.
I know. You're like, I already built it for you. Just tell me when.
Yeah,
I'll pull the trigger. I'll get the parts.
Yes, I will. I'm excited. I get
Honestly,
really
you're
excited.
more excited about this than I am.
I probably.
I was just like,
am.
yeah, I might get a PC.
Yeah, no,
That'd be beneficial for the future.
Yep, for sure.
Considering I can't get a fucking PS5.
Well, you could, and you just have to wait a little
Yeah,
bit.
considering I'm going to spend like $1,500 on a PC as opposed to $700 on an upcharged PS5. You know, it's like, yeah, well, what are you going to do?
You said it, not me.
Doesn't make much financial sense.
But it makes financial dollars. So, Marley, I think this is a good place to stop. What do you think?
I think so too, dude.
Okay. Thank God.
Just fucking leave. All right.
See ya.
Yeah, 5 minutes of dead time. On the
Just fuck it. Why not?
Exactly. No, dude.
Yep.
Wrap
This
it up,
is
man.
good.
PC gaming.
Yeah.
PC building.
Yep.
PC building.
Do any of you guys have a PC?
Let us know.
What's your build look like? I want to see the pictures. I like
Show
looking
me your
at builds.
build, guys.
Yeah. Show me your build
DM him your builds.
of your CPUs.
Gross.
No, but like seriously, show me your builds.
Get some
yeah.
excited, dude.
Yeah, let us know what you think.
Mm-hmm. Let us know where Strolli was wrong in any of that.
Oh yeah, there's probably a couple times, but I'm actually fairly confident that I was actually right on most of that. Yeah, like I actually have a half decent amount of knowledge.
Prove him wrong.
Yeah, prove me wrong. I'm cool with that. I'm very humble. I will admit to it.
He'll cry.
I'll cry first, but I'll admit to it.
I'll get it on tape. Don't worry, guys. But yeah, dude.
Yep.
Good times.
For sure. We'll see you guys later.
Yes, we will.
We love you.
We appreciate you guys.
We'll miss you.
Yes, we will. Until next time.
Bye.